Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Samaan. I'm a recently retired cardiologist. I'm also a physician coach and a mindfulness coach. And in addition to that, I'm a photographer and a student currently working towards a bachelor's of fine arts degree. So I enjoy using art as a way of developing mindfulness and creating mindful connections to other people that we might not otherwise find a way to connect with. And I feel that the study of art is such a great complement to the study of medicine and to our ability to connect on a deeper level to our patients and to people that we might encounter, perhaps in the hospital, people we might work with, or just people that we meet in our daily lives. We're able to really explore what the world might mean to somebody completely different from us through our ability to connect through art. So, with that in mind, the painting that I'm showing you today is by a Chinese master named Wu Zhen, and it's called Fisherman. Now, Wu Zhen, who painted in the 14th century, painted a number of different fishermen in his life as an artist. But in his lifetime, he was not really acknowledged or recognized as being an important artist. About 100 years later, however, he was identified as one of the four great masters of the Yuan, and as a result, his work has been studied for hundreds of years and has been a real starting point or taking off point for many subsequent artists, and that continues to this day. Through his images, we're able to spend time with him, and we begin to understand that although the subjects he depicts might seem simple and the lines might seem simple, there are multiple layers of meaning. And these images are also a wonderful way to access a brief state of meditation. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about Wu Zhen, what little we know of him, and then we'll take a few minutes for a brief mindfulness meditation. So when Wu Zhen was painting, his country was in chaos, and there was a very powerful, busy scholar type of group of people that were in public life, and that was felt to be a realm of life to aspire to. But there was also this idealized life, idealized idea of the simpler and more rural lifestyle. And although Wu Zhen was educated and could well have been a scholar and been in public life, he chose to take his life in a slower direction. And through his work, his idea was really to capture and distill the essence of his subject. So he lived this very simple rural lifestyle, yet was a man of great intellect. And what's interesting is that there was fairly conventional portraiture going on at the same time in China, mostly in the cities. But it was understood that that was a more perhaps factual based way of working versus the more ethereal and intellectual work of somebody like Wu Zhen. Yet, despite that, there was an appreciation of this type of work and an understanding at the time, at least in the more intellectual circles, of this idea of being able to get to the essence of the subject through line and pattern. When we look at this type of painting, we can also think about the idea of gesture and posture and the situation as it presents itself. So, for example, when you meet a patient or somebody in your everyday life, you might just be getting the outlines of that person, but perhaps by experiencing those outlines and appreciating those outlines, you might be able to fill in more detail than you realize if you're open to this way of seeing. Think about this as sort of a bridge between you and the other person, seeing a bridge as the artist creates this connection between you and this painter, or this fisherman, just quietly taking himself home. So let's just take a little time to take a look at this painting. We see, of course, that it's basically in shades of black, gray, and white. And this was very intentional, again, as a way of getting to the essence of the subject. Importantly, Zhen also often included poetry in his painting, and this poem on the right side, or colophon, is a way that he developed to express in more depth what he was hoping to convey through his paintings. So I'll read you a translation of this poem that I got from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And as it is translated, red leaves west of the village reflect evening rays. Yellow reeds on a sandy bank cast early moon shadows. Lightly stirring his oar, thinking of returning home, he puts aside his fishing pole and will catch no more. If we take a little bit of time and look at this painting, there's a number of ways to interpret it or to read it. So again, typically these paintings are read from right to left. So we encounter the poem. We also see these red marks, and these are marks of people that previously owned the painting. So in Zhen's time and for hundreds of years after, marking one's name on the painting was a sign of respect and ownership, but it was an art form in and of itself. So Zhen didn't inscribe these red marks. These were inscribed by people who subsequently owned it or appreciated it. That's kind of a fascinating little bit of information that, of course, today would be considered unthinkable. But these are, in a sense, living paintings. We can think of it that way. So as we look from right to left, we see what we would term negative space, or this blank space with this small figure at the lower edge. And although he's small, he's obviously meaningful. He's pulling us into the scene. We get the sense of him being small in the grand scheme of things, and yet he's the subject. So as we look off towards the left, we see this strong diagonal line with this beautiful arching tree. There's an almost impressionistic idea of the tree and the bank, the soil, the grass, the water. And so we're getting to the essence of this painting with a very few lines and very few elements, but with the sense of being enveloped into the scene. So if you'd like to come with me and just take a brief meditation, we'll explore the image together. I invite you to sit quietly, perhaps gazing at the image, or perhaps holding it in your mind's eye with your eyes closed, beginning to become aware of your breath. perhaps breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly becoming aware of your breath without trying to change it. And just allow it to flow easily and naturally. And as you sit quietly, perhaps contemplating the scene and inviting yourself to stay with it for a few minutes. Through meditation, we spend time in the present moment. As thoughts arise, we notice them and we allow them to drift away. So just imagining the gentle rocking of the boat on the water. Begin to feel the cool evening air. Notice the dimming golden light as the sun finishes its downward journey towards night. Hear the leaves rustling in the gentle breeze, and begin to notice a sense of peace and ease. With our fisherman, take a look at the water, and what do you see? Is it clear? Is it blue? Green? Can you see the fish below the surface? Imagine how it reflects the sky with an occasional gentle disturbance. Notice the sunlight rippling on the surface, quietly shimmering. And continue to breathe as the lake breathes, allowing your mind to become receptive to the sensation of light and shadow and the gentle rowing of the oars. Feel the sense of stillness and simply observing and noticing your response. Perhaps if you have a little time, you might want to pause the recording and spend a few more moments with our fisherman. But if you're ready to move on with your day, just ask yourself, can you bring this gentle awareness back with you? Inviting this image to stay with you, and perhaps returning to it in your mind's eye. Begin to bring awareness back to your hands and your feet, gently shrugging your shoulders. And take a couple more deep breaths in your own time. And just ask yourself, perhaps as your day goes by, can you imagine bringing this sense of awareness to your encounters with your patients, to people that you meet, to people that you work with? What might this encounter with this painting from hundreds of years ago of this gentle fisherman tell you about people that you meet in your day? Finding this way to connect with both the subject and the artist is a powerful way to experience mindfulness. And I hope you enjoyed spending time with me on this journey today. If you have questions for me or comments or anything else you'd like to share about this painting or others that you might have curiosity about, I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in learning more about my coaching program, you can find me at mindfulphysiciancoaching.com. And if you have any other questions or insights, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.